Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising 2021. Welcome! We survived it, Aries. We survived 2020. And those of you who are here, you're heroes. Well done. Big congratulations. 2020 was one of the most challenging years, probably, for most of the cardinal signs, one of which you are, one of which I am as well. A lot of challenges, a lot of big changes in life, but I have such great news for us. Because 2021 is going to be God's gift for us. God's reward for the hard things of the past 2 years, because 2019 also was tough for some of us as well, but 2020 was out there on another level because everything had attacked our horoscope in 2020. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Pluto. It's not in a bad way attack, but it was challenging us through difficult aspects and activations towards the sign of Aries, which means that we had to take difficult decisions, we had to fight through something, we had to. Saturn and Jupiter in the 10th house probably delayed a lot of your plans in career, especially when they were retrograde, or they made you work extra hard, or there were challenges with authority figures and with institutions. It was like your inner, the 10th house is like the hard taskmaster, like the supervisor, and either they might have been an external one for you that's very demanding, an external authority power, or maybe there was an internal, your internal authority and your internal strict supervisor started to be very hard on you in 2020 and made you take some hard decisions regarding your career, regarding your future, regarding your, restructuring your whole life, restructuring and changing certain structures and, the 10th house's structures and all such kind of stuff, especially connected to career, to worldly matters, to worldly responsibilities and duties as well. And because Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto were making hard aspects to planets in Aries, so was Mars transiting in 2020 through our planets. Maybe we had to do some great feat of willpower, something that we've never been able to achieve before, but it was not the easiest. But it took us out of our comfort zone. And if you pass the lessons well, I have such great news, guys, because now is reward time 2021 for Aries, especially Aries rising. To a lesser degree, Sun and Moon, but they will feel it as well. Reward time because Saturn and Jupiter are moving from the testing 10th house, because the 10th house is like on top of the horoscope. If Aries is here, 10th house for 2 years, 3 almost, Saturn was in our 10th house. Jupiter last year, and that was the house where, you are being supervised and tested from those most high above. It might be bosses, it might be father figures, or it might have been God. The 10th house is considered the most high, So, testing there to see, are you ready for your mission? Can you pass your mission? Are you persevering? Are you going in the right direction in regards to the mission you have in life? The delays, the challenges, whatever it happened with your public image, well, you pass that test now, and Saturn and Jupiter pass, and they meet at the very beginning of the year. Actually, they meet in December 2020 already, but you'll feel it the whole 2021. They'll be together in your 11th house of gains and rewards. Woohoo! Gains and rewards. That was the most favorite house in astrology of ancient astrologers, especially the ancient European astrologers, because they said this is the most blessed house. Jupiter is most happy there. When it passes, it gives rewards and abundance and growth, and and we're gonna have that as Aries, but with an extra condition. If it was only Jupiter, everything that the ancients said, only gains, rewards, it tends to happen. But Saturn is there as well. So Saturn demands that there will be some conditions to those rewards that come. They will come with the condition of extra work, with the condition of more responsibility, with the condition of taking on something more and being more responsible towards something. But don't worry, because Saturn is fantastic. It's its favorite sign in ancient astrology, Vedic. It's called Mula Trikona sign, stronger than It acts better, Saturn acts better in Aquarius than it acts in Capricorn, even though Capricorn it's its natural sign of rulership, because Saturn is a day planet and loves to be in a male sign, day sign like Aquarius. And Saturn there gives way more benevolent influences than in Capricorn. In Capricorn, it's very dry, very testing, very austere. Maybe you felt that in the past 2 years, like life was more austere, work was more austere, especially 2020, Everything was just more austere, restrictive, demanding. But when it comes in Aquarius, Saturn becomes from this austere taskmaster, and in your 11th house, which again has the connotations of Aquarius, it becomes from this taskmaster and all this curmudgeonly, as they say, or, like with the ruler slapping your teacher of Capricorn in the 10th house. When it goes into our 11th house and in Aquarius, it becomes this kinder, older, elder mentor. Think of like the 11th house is the house of elder siblings as well. And it's the house of, they can be tough on us sometimes, but they usually, the meaning is, and our friends, of course, is the 11th house. Mentors, benefactors, friends, people that believe in us, people that want to give us a helping hand. So you see now from the test of the 10th house, we're going to the rewards of the 11th through support of others, through a benevolent kind of bigger brother of some sort. I'm talking metaphorically. For some, it might be actually real. Like, for example, I'm developing business projects with my older brother. And now in 2020, while I'm recording those videos, they were just going very slowly, very difficultly. But when those planets move to the 11th house of elder siblings, it will take up. We're trying to change astrolabe and everything. So you can actually, some of you might get involved with some important project with all the siblings or friends. There will be a lot of activities around friendships this year. Actually, the whole year, let me give you a summary, Aries. The whole year, it's focused on communications, building bridges, establishing wider influence for us Aries. Because the most activated signs, the whole 2020 will be the air signs. Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. You see, we have Rahu here. Rahu always stimulates the sign it passes through. We'll speak about that. They're all communication signs and other people's signs. Come out of your lonely holes, Aries. It's been lonely at the top with Saturn and Jupiter in your 10th house for a while. At the top there in the 10th house. Now you're coming down a little bit from there. But you're gonna make more friends. You're gonna attract the right people now. Yes, you have to put efforts into it. It is Saturn is activating as well. But as I said, those efforts will give really good effects. You'll build up your social network, your connections. You're not going to be alone anymore. Yes, you have to come out of your comfort zone and push into that direction. And you'll have the impulse, Saturn there. You'll build a lot more connections. Plus, not only this, not only is the south, the north node, which magnifies, it's in the sign of communication for us the whole 2021. In Gemini, again, connections with others, socializing. Jupiter and Saturn in the 11th house of friendships and large groups of people. But Mercury goes retrograde 3 times in those air signs again for us, which are social houses, in the 11th house, in the 3rd house, and in the 7th house of relationships. So this is the year, guys. You come out of your shell and you come out of those boring routines, responsibilities of the 10th house, the structures and the foundations that you've been building, many of you, that made reality feel like a grind a little bit. But you are doing the practical side till now. And the structure. Now you come out and you're like, thank you. And everyone's clapping and you're like, thank you very much. Here it is. Here is what I created. Let me show it to you. You bring it to the public. So if you're a business person, this is a time you spread your social influence. By the end of 2021, you'd have more clients. You'd have made connections, partnerships, collaborations. You'd have made social business networks and connections that are, I tell you, they might be auspicious for you and bring you positive results for the next 10 to 20 years, because Saturn and Jupiter are starting a new cycle in your 11th house. Every 20 years, Saturn and Jupiter meets together in different places of the horoscope to show what the social role in society, in the world, it will be for this person and for the whole world. But for us Aries, especially Aries rising, but Aries sun and moon as well, they are meeting in our 11th house of social influence. So we're gonna be playing some important role in the role maybe of a bigger brother, protector of others, in a sense, like a mentor to others as well. Some of us might get really involved in social activism, and I'm saying not only 2021, it kickstarts in 2021, but it will have lasting effects till the next time Saturn and Jupiter meet. I think it will be in Gemini in 2040. So we're gonna have to, whatever connections we create now in the next 1 year, they might stick with us for 10, either the half cycle of Saturn Jupiter, or 20 years ahead. And they will put us in some important role of a socially influential person. The 11th house is society. Someone who might even take a leadership role in society, active role in society for what's happening in the world. If you're a younger person, usually it's some mentors coming to you in the shape and form of a benefactor, of a friend who gives you a helping hand. So esteemed people, Saturn and Jupiter, people in power, you know. Jupiter is those in esteemed positions, and Saturn as well. Jupiter is like royalty. And so I'm saying someone, it might be someone with more experience than you, someone with better social and very respectful position in society that can give you a helping hand, that can direct you, can become like a mentor or bigger sibling, like a bigger brother that is helping you. Or the elder from us, Aquarius, they might play that role for others. You know, they might be in the role of having to spread for the next, starting from 2021 for almost 20 years, to play an important role to create communities, to be like the big brother in the brotherhood. I'm not talking in the utopic, scary, dystopian way, big brother in the community, but to be like the beloved mentor in the community, to be like one who inspires others with visions of the future. With some of you, and it doesn't have to be on a global scale, even though the 11th house is very global. For some of you, it might really go global. But on a more personal level, it can just mean that on social media, you can start some project, for example, some of you, that is really tapping through which project, and it's usually business project or social activism project of some sort, social engagement, that really, through which you really put your fingers on the pulse of society. I mean, like Aries, we as Aries will be the most tuned sign, together with Aquarius themselves, the most tuned in for what is necessary for the world and society. The 11th house is what does society need to thrive. It rules politics, it rules social order in a sense, like how does interconnected systems, cities, you know, such kind of complicated systems of any sort. So of course society is a big system, economic system, financial systems, social systems of any sort. So a lot of us will be called to participate in such systems, will create such systems on network. You might be like the hub of such a network. You might be like the initiator or very active participator socially in some hub of people with like-minded interests. They might be business interests, they might be political interests, they might be social interests, they might be community interests, something to do, but you're not gonna stay like a passive observer of what's happening in the world. Even for young people who are not usually interested in what's happening, you know, like love is more important for them, whatever, they'll find themselves being like triggered to participate in active movements, to join groups. And we're not talking about superficial groups that listen to the same music. Oh, I'm going to join the fan club of Swift Taylor. Okay, so some of you it might be that. it's going to be more meaningful. It's going to be deeper, because Saturn and Jupiter are about recreation of the social order. And you are playing an important role in this recreation of the social order for the next 20 years. Starting with something that will happen from 2021. And you might be wondering, well, you might look at this video at the end of the year and they say, well, nothing really important happened. I just met those people and I started going to those meetings or online. And you find out that 4 or 5 years from now, these are the most important people you met, or friends that changed your ideology and that made you, that helped you, you know, become very socially active in some way and influential into the future. So really pay attention and be very open but cautious. Of course, Saturn is there, but be very, I would say you can be very optimistic that the universe now will send you the right people and the right connections in 2021 that will affect you for a long time and that will align your fate somehow. And so, you know, another way it can play out, this 11th house, Saturn and Jupiter, is that you can, so if you have, it's a business house. So is the 3rd and the 7th, where Mercury goes retrograde 3 times this year, and where the North Node is. They're all business houses. So but the business houses, in a sense, not so much as the work of producing as selling. The business is like the sell side of business, you know, because the business has many sides. It has the first, you create the structure, you know, then you first the vision, then the structure is the 10th house and stuff. Then you do the hard work, produce whatever you're producing. Well, the 11th house that is so strongly activated, and the other communication houses, they're about getting more clients. They're about making the right connections and growing this business to expand to more people, you know. So that's another thing that you'll see as a focus, and you'll see very powerful, positive results of that, or your focus will be in that direction. Jose, if you're a writer, you might be the time that you bring your art or your writing to the public and marketing. 11th, 3rd, 7th house is sales, marketing, you know, all of those things. You will excel at those things. You have to go a bit slower. Don't rush it in your crazy Aries way that we always want to rush things. Because Saturn is part of this configuration in Aquarius. So it's not going to be like, phew, suddenly you're, you know, having like 10 times more clients. It's persistent, consistent work, but those consistent efforts will have very long-lasting influence. The clients, the followers that you create, the people that you reach now with your message or whatever it is, you know, that you want to share with others, they might be faithful followers. They might be faithful connections for you for many years ahead. So don't rush into that. There might be some delays, especially when Saturn goes retrograde from time to time. You know, it goes retrograde, Saturn, from May the 23rd to October the 10th. So it can slow down a bit your things there that you're trying to grow. It's okay. It's when the hard work is done.